want to submit your own theories, and I'll include them as well. Now, I didn't introduce the actual series yet, but I put a video out actually today because I had to replace this video because at first I was doing the gameplay with Star Wars Battlefront, and I figured that probably wasn't appropriate for Last of Us 2, so I decided to do the actual Last of Us game with The Last of Us 2. I thought that would be better to have the gameplay of The Last of Us with The Last of Us, doing the story about The Last of Us 2. go through a lot as well. Um, how did he get introduced to the Fireflies? How did he get detached from the Fireflies? What made him need the Fireflies? How did he end up coming across Maria? How did he end up crossing, making Jackson City? How does he get to do these things? And how does he manage to create such a big society and get all these people to follow him? And where does he get this sort of leadership value? Is it some of the Fireflies? Is it random rogues? Or is it tourists? You never know. And I feel like Tommy is a very interesting character that could build a very good game off it. And if not, I definitely think they need to do DLC with it. Now, another character we could put in the mention here for a game, however, it would be more of a prequel than some sequel. It would be about Tess. And Tess is a character you'll see that later on after we mention the introduction, becomes Joel's partner in Chicago Days Longer. And she's very resistant. She has a lot of... She seems to have she had a troubled past. And when she meets Joel and Tess are pretty much inseparable. They're partners. In my opinion, I think the two are actually in a relationship pretty much, but there wasn't really enough time to tell, and it was really kind of cloudy, but it'd be cool to see how she got to Boston. How did she end up meeting Joel? And how does she end up pretty much doing the things she does, meeting Joel, and even doing a couple missions to see how things go with Robert, the guy who betrayed him pretty much in the very epic introduction. And honestly, I think that'd be actually kind of cool prequel to do Joel and Tess as kind of a pair too, because those two actually hold a pretty good bond, and I would say it's the third person Joel cares about, ends up caring about in his life. First being Sarah, the second being Tess, and the third being Ellie, and I feel like she's one of that three that actually Joel cares about, so I feel like there's a good story to do as well. Marlene necessarily is another character that can get her in the driver's seat of another game. However, I really don't think Marlene would be the best choice just because I didn't like Marlene as much as in the story. I didn't really find her appealing, and it does make sense though how they could build a game off of that because she does have a lot of backstory. And how did she join the Fireflies? How did she create the Fireflies? She built the murder of the Fireflies. How does she do that? How does she get a hold of everything? And how does she end up becoming the leader of the Warhold, or the leader of the rebellion? And honestly, I think that's a pretty big story they could do with her. However, I really don't like Marlene as a character. I don't think she's as well developed. But it would be cool to see kind of like the battle between the Fireflies and the quarantine zones, and how they pretty much separate into what they are now, and to kind of split into a divide and continue on to the war. Even going on with the events of Joel and Ellie, what does Marlene do throughout her time waiting for Joel? And so yeah, I feel like that would be, those are four theories that would be very, very interesting. And another theory of mine that I personally think would be cool is doing the 25 years between Joel from here, him losing his daughter, to ended up being Boston with Tess. How does he get to where he is? How does he cope with losing everything that he loved, and especially his brother leaving him, and Tess getting to Boston, being what he is, becoming the smuggler he is? What does he have to go through? Because currently he's in Texas, and Texas and Boston aren't necessarily close. I mean, I think that'd be also a very, very interesting story that could kind of fill in the gaps, unless if they don't fill in the gaps, at least make a DLC about it. I mean, we only got one DLC with The Last of Us, so it's kind of, I feel like there's a lot missing. And plus, then you got the cliffhanger ending. I believe it's about the transition soon, so I'm going to let that transition. Alright. So yeah. The very end of the game, spoilers, again, I already warned you. Very end, Ellie wants to know if Joel's pretty much lying to her, and Joel ends up lying to her, and he swears everything's true, and that leaves a lot of questions. Does Ellie believe him? Does Ellie not believe him? What does Ellie think about this? What does she think also got to, what is he gonna do about Tommy? And so you have to leave that in. You also have to add in what happens when he gets to college, and then you have to add the events of Ellie on her own, and then you have to do the very end of the game, or you have to do the very end of the game. So there's a lot of things they have to leave out, and a lot of things they have to keep in. But it just brings up the question: what are they going to leave out? What are they going to keep in? So that's enough about the movie, though. This is The Last of Us Remastered Edition, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode of What's Next, and I really hope you enjoyed the series. Each one of these videos are going to be roughly between 15 to 20 minutes long, depending on the video or the topic I'm talking about. Certain topics will be longer than others. So I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and if you want your theory put into a What's Next, please feel free to comment. Now, if it's the same as mine, I'll keep it in. I'll even mention that you put it in. And if you